Asparagus, eyeliner, microwave. I forgot to write an intro, but anything sounds good in this voice.
That's the best opener yet.
Thank you kindly.
Do you have a mustache?
Yeah, sort of. Or what passes for a mustache in these cancerous days.
I was getting that Burt Reynolds vibe.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to shave before this, but then I figured I'd let you see my shitty beard and mustache. So this is like about 3 weeks without shaving, probably.
Okay.
Only white beard hair and not much of it. And a sort of brownish mustache, but not much of it either. Which is a bit of a problem, because you must know this, and somebody mentioned it to me yesterday. Said, are you doing Movember this year?
Yeah.
Which would be good if I had, like, hair growing. I could try it, but I just look...
Isn't Movember about cancer?
It is.
So shouldn't you be exempt for growing a mustache?
That's kind of what I figured, too. It's a bit too late to grow a mustache if you already have cancer.
Write that down, kids.
I'm wondering if you'll have a mustache on the next episode, though.
According to the rules, you have to start November 1st.
Well, that's what I mean. The next episode will be in November, I imagine.
Yes, but my mustache won't be impressive if we do it like day 2.
Well, that's true, but will you be growing one? Will you try
Yes.
and do it better than me?
Yes. And all the other years, I've done like a beard thing, but apparently that's cheating. So now I'm doing full porn stash. We're going all the way.
Do the handlebar thing.
You have high expectations of my mustache growth.
Yeah, I would imagine it like curling up at the edges, and then you could put a Viking helmet on, and you'd look like Asterix, even though he isn't a Viking.
He's French, but yeah, I'm gonna have to need at least like 4 or 5 days to pull that off.
Well, it takes me usually about a month and a half to get a mustache that's worse than this. So,
All right.
This is even before having cancer.
So for those of you who don't know what the hell we're talking about, Movember is cancer awareness for men. Is it about testicular cancer or any kind of cancer?
Oh, I thought it was only about mustache cancer.
When you're not prepared to shave your mustache, but it has cancer in it, so you have a real dilemma.
Because if it was about testicular cancer, shouldn't you just be growing an extra ball or something?
Or an impressive amount of hair on your balls to have like a furry protective sack.
A ball stash.
I'm definitely doing that.
I will try, and if anybody else watching this, listening to us, is doing it, why don't you let us know in a comment?
Yes, or send photos, and we can show the photos of the best mustaches on the show.
Absolutely, and if Burt Reynolds participates, we won't let him win.
Mostly because he's dead, but you know, it's the thought that matters.
That's true.
Who else is famous for their stash?
Hitler. Our
True.
good friend Hitler, we always like mentioning.
Call back to our one bald bastard. Chaplin.
Chaplin, but sort of the same mustache.
Same mustache, different guy.
Salvador Dali has a good one.
The hanging one?
Yeah, the sort of thing, exactly. About as abstract as his paintings. I'll probably get told his paintings aren't abstract. They're
not abstract at all.
I can't remember. What do I know about
weird?
art? Weird. That's
flowy.
the Yes, but I think there's another word for that school of art that I should know, but I don't, because,
Well, you can blame it on the cancer.
blame it on the cancer.
How you doing, Joe?
Well, pretty good. Last time I mentioned I had some pretty worse, should I say, side effects that were getting better. Now they're basically all gone. I still have a little bit of weird fingers I mentioned last week, but it's really getting better. The only real side effect I still have a little bit was being really, really tired. I slept a ton. And like 10 days ago, I went out to see a concert in the next town over with a friend. And as you do at a concert, I stood there watching it for about 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And the next day, I had pretty sore legs because I realized it was probably the first time since June that I spent 2 hours in a row standing.
I mean, that would happen to anyone, cancer or not.
I mean, I hope you can stand for 2 hours straight.
I can do a cool 150. Speaking of which, we're jumping the gun, because every week you pass me like this is the agenda, and then I just don't look at it, and I just go overboard, and now I'm looking at it, and I see I've already fucked up everything.
That's quite all right. It just proves that we're doing this improvised.
Yes, but we had some cool news yesterday. We're doing this modern kind of radio, and what is happening with this modern kind of radio, aka podcasts? We're going on normal radio.
Yes, we're going on a real... I knew that. I thought you were looking for some kind of brilliant phrase that I said.
No,
A local, very small radio station, at least for the moment, asked me if they could play every episode. So they're started on episode 1, and they'll be playing an episode every week.
So it's going to be like a documentary series.
I guess so. What's funny is that it's a radio station here in the French part of Switzerland, which is normally a French-speaking radio, but obviously there'll be no subtitles, so it's just in English. And that's on Radio Rocher, I should say, which means rock radio, but not rock as in rock and roll, rock as in a stone.
Do you have to be stoned to listen to our cancer rants?
No, but maybe it helps.
Is there a link there? Like when you get stoned, is that the same kind of stoned or is that a different word?
Not at all the same word. It's really the word for like a block of stone or a rock.
I'm really looking forward to the day where the French language comes out as something equivalent of flexible. You guys are fucking morons. In case somebody has listened to the first whatever minutes we've talked, this is a show about Joe's journey towards, what was the word? Redemption? That's not the word. A cure.
I guess when we started, it was the road to either recovery or death. It's looking like it'll be recovery probably now, which is pretty good.
Eventually, it will be death, but not from this. You'll be hit by a beer truck or something, and then we can say the alcohol killed you. Which is one of the worst jokes ever.
Yeah, but it would be kind of nice to be hit by a beer truck.
Yes.
Ideally, it hit really slowly, so it just like hits you, and then you grab a beer and...
That sounds like a very Barney-esque situation from The Simpsons.
No, do not confuse me with Barney from The Simpsons.
After this case and the next case, we only have one case left.
I don't know if you watched The Simpsons this week, but he actually stopped drinking.
What?
Well, they got vaccinated against alcohol, him and all his, and Homer and everybody, and stopped drinking and got great at life.
Great.
And then decided to go back to drinking.
But let's cut to the chase. So you're done with the chemo.
I'm done with the chemo. I actually haven't seen any medical personnel for about 10 days now, which is the first time that's happened for so long.
But you had the PET scan, didn't you?
Yes, because we remember halfway through my chemo, I had a PET scan that turned out not to be a PET scan. And this time I had to go and get a PET scan, which was definitely a PET scan. Mm-hmm. Turned out it wasn't a PET scan.
What? You promised us.
I was 100% sure I knew what I was talking about. So I went up to the next town over. I had my meeting at 10 o'clock, and they have their PET scan machine in the parking lot.
As you do.
Like, not just sitting there in a parking spot. It's in a portable building because the hospital is already full of COVID and sick people and other machines.
Did they also sell VCRs and AK-47s out of the back of a truck?
Probably.
Nice.
So I went there and I said, "Hey, I'm here for my PET scan." She said, "What's your name?"
With that amount of enthusiasm?
Pretty much, yeah.
Hey!
I'm here for my PET scan. Let's get it going. And so she said, "What's your name?" And I gave her my name, and she said, "No PET scan scheduled today." And I was like, "Yes, I definitely have a PET scan. I was told it was definitely a PET scan." And she looked again. I was like, "No." And then she looked in some other directory and said, "You just have a normal scan."
Okay.
So I was quite happy because I expected it to be the long hour and a half sort of PET scan thing, and it ended up taking about 10 minutes.
So exactly the same as before then.
Exactly. They gave me that little shot of stuff that heats up your whole body, and then they gave me the PET scan, and I was off on my merry way.
Is this like a cheap knockoff Taiwanese version of the PET scan, or does it do the job sufficiently?
It does the job, apparently. My doctor was happy with what he got, and so yeah, I think it works.
So what's the verdict?
I went in the next day and saw my oncologist. He said basically what was expected. He said, "Well, yeah, it did keep going down against your spine, but it hasn't disappeared yet. And your lungs, the three..."
You mean the cancer moved?
No, it went down in size.
I thought you meant it spiraled down like a rappelling kind of thing down your spine towards your ass.
That would be pretty good if it just moved down and I could dispose of it myself in the bathroom.
We're losing it in terms of we don't have our usual mojo.
Of course we do.
Yes, we do.
There's just as much Joe as last time. Why would you want mojo than this?
Oh! Why have I never thought of that? That's amazing.
But so anyway, back to the cancer and the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And so we've established 3 pieces of shit in my lungs. They continued to get smaller. Apparently, were 57% smaller than they were halfway through the chemo.
Okay.
Were you trying to think of a Wesley Snipes joke or not?
Now I am. Did they cut it with a blade? Whoosh. Anyway.
Nice.
But yeah, so 57% less in size than halfway through the chemo.
Exactly. So it's 57% less of whatever amount smaller that was.
Question is, how much is left?
Well, there's 3 of them. One of them, he said, was almost gone and might even be a sort of ghost one. You sort of see something left on the scan, but it's not really there.
Is your cancer ghosting you? Is that what you're saying?
I think I'd like that, I guess.
Fair enough.
For some reason, I'm just imagining me and my cancer making pottery now.
I want to play the Whoopi Goldberg role.
Yeah, you might have a paleness problem there.
Fair.
But so he got smaller, and basically he said, well, next step is he's going to speak with the surgeon and specialists, and then they decide exactly what to operate. He said, yes, likely I'll have the operation on the back, or rather it's sure I'll have the operation on my back. And the lungs, he said, not necessarily. And I'll probably need another scan, because actually apparently the chemotherapy continues working for about a month to a month and a half after getting the injection. But he said the surgeons might want to get another scan before deciding if they're going to operate or not. Mm-hmm. And so this was about 10 days ago. And so he had his meeting with these specialists 2 days ago. And the deal was he was going to phone me yesterday with news, what's going to happen. So I was all excited. I get the call at 10 in the morning, and basically he said, I don't have any news for you.
I've been so impressed with the Swiss medical crew up till this point, but have they just given up?
No, I mean, it's not that he had no news. He spoke to surgeons and specialists, and but I guess not all the surgeons yet. Basically said the good news is that the pieces of shit are in places that are easy to get to. So that's nice. But they want to find out what's going to happen with the other operation before deciding if they operate or not. Because there's a tiny possibility that instead of an operation, I could have radiotherapy for the stuff in my lungs.
Radiotherapy.
Yeah, I think you just sit there and listen to BBC One. Hello.
This is the BBC. We're here to remove your fucking cancer, yeah?
All right, cool. What is radiotherapy? Is it a big, like James Bond-esque radio beam shooting into your stomach?
Well, basically it would be into my lungs, I guess, because that's where the cancer is.
Oh, I thought you meant the spinal thing. Wasn't that going through your stomach?
No, the spinal thing they will be operating on, that's for sure. It's the lungs that maybe they can do it with radiotherapy instead. And so
Before or after the spine?
It will likely be after. I'm not 100% sure, but I asked the doctor if there's 2 operations, which would be first, and he said it would be the spine one. And I said, why? Because it's worse at the moment. And he said, yeah, that's about it.
And do you know when the spine thingy happens?
No, that's what I'd like to know. And technically, I will be called tomorrow by 11 in the morning, and then I'll find out, hopefully, at least a rough timeline of when I'd get the operation. But I imagine as soon as they decide to do it, it'll be pretty quick, as long as scheduling permits.
Do you know how long an operation like that takes? Have they told you?
It's a few hours, the back one at least. And there'd be 2 teams of surgeons, I believe.
But they're still doing it from the front, right?
So I hear, unless they change their mind and find a shortcut or something.
So you'll have a big scar on your belly.
Exactly, but I guess somebody mentioned to me that it's probably lucky they go from the front, because just for the period of time when you're healing, it's a bit of a pain to have to sit on your scar all day or lean against your scar. It probably makes sleeping complicated. The stomach will likely be, I was almost going to say more enjoyable, but that might be a bit of an exaggeration. Less not enjoyable.
So do you know whether or not you're going to get like a up towards your belly button, so it'll be like a C-section scar? Or will you have like a big cross saying X marks the spot?
Something like that. I'm hoping it's sort of an aesthetic, a nice looking scar, so I can do something with it after. Like, I don't know, tattoo a zipper to the top of it or something. Or add a fish head to the top and a fish tail to the bottom, make it look like a fish bone.
By the way, earlier we talked about the film Ghost. I'm guessing you didn't understand that. I just had to say that.
We're getting Unchained here.
Oh. Anybody get that? No. Stupid French people. Anywho.
Yeah, these are getting more and more obscure, our jokes.
This is the main red thread narrative of our entire friendship. Just throwing out references that very few other people get.
That's true. If people looked at yesterday's Facebook Messenger conversation, we basically spoke in Bond titles for about 20 minutes.
Yes.
None of the jokes really made sense, but we enjoyed it.
Every now and again, we just have this sort of competition without a winner where we exchange puns based on a common theme. We never sort of say, this is what's happening now. It just starts.
That's true. And it goes on until we run out of Bond films or run out of what. Luckily, Bond film was only 20. We've had other conversations with just like random song titles that have gone on for hours.
Yes. Let's get back to the cancer, shall we?
Wouldn't want to forget it.
Are you still doing your belly needle sessions?
I've got a bottle full of needles here.
Used or new ones?
These are used ones.
Ew.
There's not very many in here. The reason they're in a bottle is because you have to bring them back to the pharmacy so they can get disposed of with medical waste or whatever.
You don't lie them around in like a children's playground? I thought that was the etiquette.
Don't do that. And also, like, having them in just a plastic bag is kind of not a good idea because needles go through plastic bags.
So you're using those sharp needles.
Exactly. But this is just the few that I've used here at my parents' house. At home, I've got a ton more. So yeah, I'm still doing that every day and quite fed up with doing it.
Okay.
It doesn't usually hurt. It does once in a while now because I've started sort of bruising around the spots where I give myself the shots because of the blood thinners. And I've now noticed it makes it slightly easier if I sing while I do it.
Question number 1. Isn't it better than the alternative, which is dying? And question number 2. What do you sing?
Basically random stuff. I've been trying to think of what would be a good, like, inject myself song to sing.
Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give cancer a bad name. No, that was Bon Jovi.
I figured it was Bon Jovi because, yeah. No, I've sang, last night I sang, Fly me to the moon, let me sing among the stars.
We don't have the money to actually play that whole song.
Yeah, I shouldn't have sung that because I actually did, before we recorded this, look up if it was copyright free, and it isn't.
Fly Me to the Moon? Shocking.
Came out in 1954, so you have to wait a few more years.
But it's 100 years after the composer died.
I don't think it's 100. I think it's 75, but I might be wrong.
You know Edvard Grieg, the Norwegian composer?
I do. The guy who wrote the Morning Dew song.
Yeah, Morning and in the
Midnight in the
Hall
Castle
of the
King.
In Hall of the Mountain King, which is everyone has heard that. It's been in every American movie ever because it's over 100 years since he died.
Everybody's heard the other one too.
Yeah. Correct. But all you have to do is get a band or an orchestra and play it, and it's copyright free because he's been dead for over 100 years. Lesson learned.
Here's my plan: is once I'm cancer free, I'm starting a Krieg cover band. We could do like a country rock version of Krieg and call it Cregan's Clearwater Revival.
It's a G, not a K.
Krieg, yeah, I actually knew that. Gregan's.
Yeah, that could work.
That could indeed work.
I mean, you look like trailer trash right now, so you'll be the front man of the show. Just because you're wearing a trailer hat. Isn't that what it's called?
This isn't actually a trucker hat, is what you're trying to say.
Trucker.
And this is a baseball cap. You can tell by the fact that it has the baseball team on the front.
But you don't like baseball.
No, but they yankied out my ball, so I figure.
This is true. I own both a Yankees cap and a LA Dodgers cap, and
Everybody in the world owns a Yankees cap.
But are you completely bald?
Well, there's some weird hairs of different lengths.
But it's pretty bald.
It's pretty bald, but is it pretty? I don't know.
Chicks dig bald, guys.
True.
Have we spoken about this before?
No.
All right, so quick thing. You know when you ask, for instance, a girl, like, what's the hottest celebrity you know? And I'm always expecting them to say Brad Pitt or something like that, because that would be a valid answer. But so many girls have asked during the course of my lifetime have answered Vin Diesel, which makes no sense to me because he looks like the Michelin Man or a giant baby. But he is bald.
It makes more sense than if that was their answer to who's the best actor in the world.
This is true. But I'm just thinking there are so many women out there who find Vin Diesel hot. And it's not just because of his family values, but but it's just weird. And you have that Vin thing going.
Yeah, I've got fewer muscles than him, though.
Yeah, but that can be photoshopped.
Smaller bank account.
Yeah, that's so far.
Yeah, so far, if somebody's like, should I date Vin Diesel or him? Let me think. Cancerous bald dude out of work? Or this rich bad actor?
You're temporarily out of work. We already established a couple of episodes back that we're doing The Slow and the Cancerous, which will knock the Fast and the Furious out of the ballpark. Because who doesn't like slowing down?
Ballpark.
Maybe that's the name of this episode. Going out to the ballpark, knocking a few balls out.
Hit it out of the ballpark.
That's a home run for me.
Indeed, because we know that'll be a big hit here in Switzerland, where baseball is one of the national sports.
Can we address the fact that you get comments about buoy?
Bull.
Sorry.
You're right. Last episode, we called it Bills and Balls. And someone mentioned he was really surprised I didn't make a joke about Boule Bill. Boule Bill is a famous comic strip. The thing is, in English, it's called Billy and Buddy.
God, you French people are lame.
And I said French. It's probably Belgian, but I'm not sure. But most good comics are actually Belgian rather than French.
Well, Asterix is French,
Nope.
isn't it?
No, it's not.
Goscinny and Uderzo.
I would imagine they're both Belgian.
Ah, nice.
I might be completely wrong, and they're both French, though. So you'll have to cut this out and just have me going, yes, they are French.
Also, Lucky Luke, is that also Belgian?
Probably.
Ah, gotta love those Belgians.
Most of the comics I read when I was a kid, I know are Belgian. I'm not 100% certain which ones are Belgian and which one are French, but Belgians have quite a big comic industry.
I was gonna make a joke about French comics, but then that would lead into terrorism quite quickly. So I'm not gonna do that.
Isn't that Danish comics?
That too, but I was talking about the satire magazine.
Charlie Hebdo.
Yes. All right, so let's segment back to cancer then. Speaking of which, the highlight for me during our James Bond talk yesterday with the jokes was the fact that I hadn't thought of the fact that there is one James Bond film called Thunderball.
Feel the lightning.
I mean, I am Norwegian, which means I'm Norse, which means I am Thor, the god of thunder, and you have a ball, so together we're Thunderball.
That makes perfect sense.
Nobody is requiring this show to make sense. You know, we're one of the few shows on YouTube that have 100% liking approval. I don't think I've seen a single thumbs down. That doesn't mean we have a lot of people who put thumbs up, but it's 100% every episode.
That's pretty cool. And if you haven't liked, subscribed, or shared yet, you should do it now.
Indeed. Also, we have viewers, both new and old, who say we should have more followers, and I completely agree.
So do I.
Also, as many times established, we're morons, so we don't know how to establish that bigger following. So if you have any tips, comments, ideas, what to do, please tell us.
Absolutely. And you can absolutely. Absolutely. Why the hell did I say that again?
Well, you know, it's not like you've said that word before, ever.
No. But yeah, any tips, ideas, or if you want to share this on your local cancer ward, go ahead.
Also, if you have any tips, ideas, questions, suggestions on what we should attack in terms of topics, then we're more than willing to listen to you and then blow you off.
No, any suggestions we're open to, because it's kind of nice getting feedback from people.
It is.
Which we get quite a lot of. So yeah, any suggestions you have, and we'll be happy to take into
considerazione. So what's next on the horizon in the old cancer department? That's you getting feedback?
Basically, yeah. I'm just still waiting for tomorrow, and
we're all waiting for tomorrow, Joe. Tomorrow never dies. Sorry, I'm in the James Bond loop.
Yeah, I've got "Waiting for Tonight" stuck in my head now for some reason.
Waiting for tonight. The J-Lo song?
Exactly, which we probably don't have enough money to license either. J-Lo, if you're watching and you like the show, let us do a duet, maybe?
Would you deny a cancerous man the chance to sing one of your old hits?
And we could, do a duet and call ourselves Jolo.
Oh.
Because you only live once.
Nice. I think this is the episode with the most references. Maybe we should start like a thing where every episode we know the amount of references afterwards because we count them up, and then we ask a questionnaire to answer on YouTube how many pop cultural references did we push into the episode, and the one that gets the right answer the first wins.
No cancer.
Yes. A cancer-free week in your own home. That's a great reward.
Well, I wouldn't mind winning that.
Fair. I'm not going to let you win, though. That's rigged.
Stop the count. No, I'm pretty sure they counted correctly to 1, which is the number of balls I have.
Have you lost the second one as well?
Nope, still there.
Still there. All right. I think we've pushed our luck far enough this week.
Yeah, so as we say this, we're ending, I guess, on a cliffhanger. I had hoped I would actually have the news from my doctor for this episode. But as we mentioned, we've got to wait till tomorrow, hopefully. So in the next episode, find out when I'm getting cut up.
But I mean, there are so many times now where you've said, this will guaranteed happen, PET scan, etc. If you end up saying, I didn't have to do surgery, I only had to see an old lady and eat some sardines, then we'll all be very disappointed. We're heavily invested on an emotional level here, Joe.
But that would be a good twist. You find me in the operating room, and we zoom in, and I'm just sitting there with a box of sardines, going, "Yep, cancer's disappearing. I can feel it." And then I throw up because I hate sardines.
Who likes sardines besides seagulls?
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe certain whales or something. I don't know.
I've often been referred to as a whale in my fatter days. I'm talking PAHT, pretty hot and tempting, not fat as in chunky. I don't know where I'm going with this. That was reference number 274.
And it served no purpose at all.
Purpose! That's funny. All right, we're cutting it. Close.
I think we are getting to the end of this reference fest, as you called it.
We've tried to end it for about 40 minutes.
Maybe one of these goodbyes will actually make it into the show.
This is like the final film of Lord of the Rings, where they tried to end the film 18 million times.
Oh.
Ugh.
I could never watch that film again.
Bye, Frodo. Bye. Wait, we forgot that. Hello, Aragorn. Bye. Whoa.
You're particularly believable because you're about as tall as a hobbit.
This is true.
And people can't tell, but your feet look the same.
I don't actually have any shoes on.
Like a hobbit,
Yeah.
I think.
All right, Thunderball.
We forgot to remind people to put their hands down their pants, though.
Either for fun or for medical reasons, your call.
Why not both?
Fun medical reasons?
Yeah. Why can't you mix fun and medicine?
This is true.
Joseph Mengele did.
And Joseph Goebbels.
Go, balls, go.
Joseph Goebbels? This is the greatest ending to an episode ever. Now we really have to cut this.
Yeah.
Because I have places to be, and you have sleeping to do.
And cancer to beat.
It's been a pleasure, Sir Barnes.
As always, a pleasure indeed. Thanks, Andreas. And thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. Like, subscribe, share, send us money. See you soon.
And suggest shit.